Hello. So in this part of the video, we are going to do part 2 of our cryptography assignment. So in part 1, you used matrices to encode messages, and then you created a presentation using Canva and Adobe Spark. In part 2 of our cryptography assignment, you are actually going to work with somebody else's work, and you are going to use their encrypted message, and you are going to decode it and then write the message that they encoded. So step 1 says to watch the video. So that's the video that I'm creating right now. Then it asks you to open up the notes. I have my notes pulled up, so this is what you will pull up when you click there. The next part of the assignment says to click on the Google Docs and put your name beside the project that you are going to decode. So when you click on the link, you will see the different assignments that students have already created, and those are the matrices you are going to use to decode. So I decoded the first two because I actually made the first two, but I wanted to give you an example. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to notice how the rest of them are blank on the bottom. So you are going to type in your name beside the assignment or the message matrix that you're going to encode. So your name would go here, and that is step 2. Okay, so that's step 2. That's where we were at. And then step 2 also says to make sure you put your name beside the project. Then step 3 says to upload a picture of your work on Canvas. So you are going to follow the directions on the notes. So I want to go through these notes. Step number 1 says that this is the encoding matrix you are going to use. So there's a lot of writing in here, but that's because I already did some work. I also uploaded a blank, or you can open up a blank Word document to show your work and annotate, or you can write it on a piece of paper and upload your work that way as well. Step 2 says to write the message matrix from the Google Docs document. So when I go back to the Google Docs document, this is the first one I clicked on. So when I click on the first message matrix, I get 32, 35, 12, 72, 75, 36. Notice how in your notes, that's the matrix that I wrote down. So whichever one you choose to use from the Google Docs, from the first column, that's the matrix you are going to write down on your notes. So if you decide to do this one, you'll click on it and then you'll decode that one. And then the next part of the assignment says to, in order for us to decode the matrix, we are going to need to find the inverse of the encoding matrix and multiply it by the message matrix. So keep in mind that this is our encoding matrix, the 1, 2, 3, 4. So the directions say to find the inverse of the encoding matrix. Remember that to find the inverse of this matrix, I have to do 1 divided by, and this -2 represents the determinant of that matrix. So this is the work I did to find the determinant. I multiplied this diagonal and then subtracted this diagonal here. So I got 4 minus 6, which was -2. And then remember that in order for us to find the inverse, I still have to multiply that by something different that we do with this matrix. So where did I get these numbers from? If you go back to your 2 by 2 matrix, this diagonal here, we switched the numbers. So that's where I got the 4 and the 1. And then for this diagonal, we changed the signs. So here's the 2 changed to a -2, and the 3 changed to a -3. So for this diagonal, we changed the signs, but remember that we are not changing the position of them, just change the signs. Then we multiply the 1 over -2 times each entry in the matrix, and this is what I got. So this is the inverse. That's this first part, inverse of an encoding matrix. Then you are going to multiply it by the message matrix. So the inverse of the encoding matrix is this -2, 1, 1.5, and -1.5. And then I'm going to multiply it by the message matrix, which you wrote in step 1. So that's where I got the 32, 32, 35, 12, 72, 75, and 36. So those are the numbers here. So when we multiply the matrices, I color coded to kind of help you walk through the notes, and you can look at where I got my numbers from. But remember that we multiplied the rows by the columns. So if you see here, that's the gray circle that I had, the -2 times the 32, and then the 1 times the 72. And I just continued on doing the row times each column. So that's these numbers here, and then the second row by each column, and that's where I got the numbers here. So you've done some multiplication. You used the Metaverse app earlier in this project to work through multiplying matrices and understanding the dimensions of them. And like I said, I color coded to help you out. So then I just simplified the numbers. So I simplified this first set of numbers, and that's what I got. And then at the very end, when I did like -64 plus 72, I got 8. Then -70 plus 75, which I got from here, I got 5. And then, so you'll see where I got each number from. So then the last step is to take those numbers and use our cryptography to change those numbers into our message. So if you look at number 8 is an H, the number 5 is an E, 12 is L, 12 is 12, 12 is L, 15 is O, and then the 0 stands for a space or just an underscore. So this is what was written. So that's our message code. That's the decoded message. So the message there was hello. And I'm going to follow the next steps. You've already used Canva or Adobe Spark to do your presentation when you encoded your matrix. So if you feel pretty comfortable with that, you don't have to redo it. Rewatch the videos, but you will need to go on step 5 where you will use Canva or Adobe Spark again, go to Google Docs and create your presentation. So notice how I put hello in there. I use Canva for this one, and then when I click on this link, this is the presentation. So you decoded somebody else's message in the classroom, and since I decoded that, I got hello. If you look at the next one, this is the one that I created. So all these columns are full, and then when you want to present your decoded matrix, you will use Adobe or Canva, and then you will create your presentation and you will write what the decoded message was. So for that one, the decoded message was Maria. So like I said, you are just going to choose through whatever project you want to decode, and then you are going to use that to make a presentation. And then the last thing you are going to do is to provide me with feedback on your assignment. So you will complete the survey that I created through Google Docs, and just give me some feedback on things that you liked. It's going to ask you specific questions. It shouldn't take long, but make sure you're specific. Please let me know if you have questions. If you need to set up a Zoom conference, send me a message through Canvas. And if you just want me to answer your questions through a message, just send me a message there too. But if you want to conference or you need help on anything, let me know and we can set up a time and a day where I can help you. So good luck on your presentation. Hope you have a good rest of your day.